Hey you guys, how's it going today? I want to try a little something new, which is to share with you some inspiration and some ideas that I have learned from Charlie Munger, who, as many of you know, is one of the greatest investors of all time. He passed away recently, but some of the things that he taught us, I just feel have been so powerful and have helped me in so many ways as I've grown up just as a person, as a man, and as someone getting through in this life and trying to figure out how to handle myself. And this applies to men and women, but I'm just sharing this because, he's just had such an influence. I literally, over the last year, when I wake up in the morning, I make some coffee, and one of the things I try to do, I'm not perfect at it, but I've just gotten better at it, is to just read in the morning. And one of the books that I read is Poor Charlie's Almanac. It's a book, it's a collection of essays and speeches and quotes and things that Charlie Munger has said. And the hardest thing for me is to not pick up my phone and start scrolling at the beginning of the day. But this practice of reading, and just, it doesn't have to be, long and torturous. It could just be 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or if it's the right quote, it could be 3 minutes of just reading something, thinking about it, and carrying it with me through the day. So I'm going to share with you something that Charlie Munger said. And I think this is really his reflection on Epictetus, who is a Greek philosopher and a fascinating person. If you have the chance to learn a little bit about Epictetus, I think you'll really enjoy whatever you read in his philosophy about his life and his thinking and the wisdom that he shared with other people. So Charlie loved to share these famous dead people, their thoughts and their ideas, because he liked learning from the learned dead. And here's one of the Epictetus ideas through Charlie Munger. He said, "Life will have terrible blows, horrible blows, unfair blows. Doesn't matter. And some people recover and others don't." So I just want to mention here, Charlie Munger, he was blind in one eye for half of his life. He had a cataract surgery that got screwed up, and it left him blind in one of his eyes. And I know about it, I read about it, but I've never heard him ever complain or say how unfair it was that it's harder to drive a car, or it's harder to read, or he can't see things as well. Never complained. Also, he lost his son to leukemia long time ago. And it was the hardest thing ever in his life. I mean, from what I've heard from parents, the fear of losing a child is the greatest fear in the world, beyond anything else. And to actually have to go through that. And he saw his son just get weaker and weaker and sicker. I think it was over the course of a year, his son was dying of leukemia in front of his eyes, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. So Charlie has definitely been through some really tough situations in life, and he's made it through without self-pity, without saying, "Poor me, why did this happen to me?" And so I think it's just an elevated way of thinking. I mean, it's not the common sense or the common way, which is, usually we feel sorry for ourselves when bad things happen. And I think there's a lot to be learned, something to aspire toward. I'm not saying everybody should or can go through life just feeling as though, just having this kind of whatever happens, I'm going to deal with it. But, I know that Charlie was very sad and cried many, many times walking around the streets while his son was dying. But he found a way to move on. And I think that's the challenge for all of us. So let me just share kind of the gist of what Epictetus said. I'm kind of paraphrasing. But he said, every mischance in life, every problem, every unfortunate situation, every mischance in life was an opportunity to behave well. Every mischance in life was an opportunity to learn something. And your duty was not to be submerged in self-pity, but to utilize the terrible blow in a constructive fashion. And that is a very good idea, Charlie Munger said. So, whatever you are dealing with, whether it's your own health, something is going wrong in your body and you're not feeling right, or maybe it's your mom or your dad or one of your relatives, or maybe it's something going on in work or something financial going on. It's the challenge is just to not feel self-pity, not to be submerged in it, and to just keep your chin high and stay positive and do whatever is within your control. Because a lot of these things in life are well beyond our control, like a child getting leukemia or an eye surgeon screwing up a cataract surgery and leaving you blind. So anyways, I just share this because it's something we can learn from other people. It's something we can learn from Charlie Munger. And his spirit and his ideas and values are carried now through us as we live our lives. And maybe you can share this with someone in your life who's maybe going through a tough time. So something I wanted to share with you here is an idea here of doing things that are within your control. So, you know, when you think of a commercial airline pilot, I mean, every now and then a pilot of a plane will encounter some horrible situation. Like there was Sully Sullenberger, who was taking off from LaGuardia or JFK Airport, some airport in New York, and they had a bird strike while they were, you know, taking off. And he had like lost total power to one or maybe both engines. He could have just said, oh my God, and lost control, and that plane could have crashed. And from what I've heard, in the hands of other pilots, a bird strike like that and losing power to the engines could have resulted in landing, like, you know, in a skyscraper or crashing down, you know, on a bunch of buildings and many people dying. Sully Sullenberger had the calmness through this terrible blow, literally like a blow of birds into the engine, to remain calm and do what was in his control to land that plane in the Hudson River, and nobody died. And so I think this is a really good kind of example, this plane thing, because in life, like when a pilot, like a commercial airliner, when you're on the ground and, you know, you're finding your seat, and you're putting your bags in the overhead bins and all that stuff, the pilots are going through their checklist of all the things they need to do. What's the weather like? You know, how are the engines working? Did they inspect the brakes? Did they look at the wheels? They go out around and they walk around the plane and they check that all the wheels and the landing gear look like they're in good condition. So they do everything they can. They have this checklist, and that helps them to prepare so that they don't have stuff come up, you know, unexpectedly that they couldn't kind of control. And then when things happen, they just do the best they can. But your training should be to handle these horribly unexpected events with grace, with equanimity, with a calm and a peace of mind. And, you know, we should all hope the next time we fly in a plane, if we're lucky enough to be able to fly in airplanes, that the pilots are not only prepared, but also follow this kind of Epictetus and Charlie Munger approach of, you know, handling whatever happens with grace and without freaking out and with calm and peace of mind. So I just wanted to share this with you. It's a kind of new thing on this channel. I usually talk about investing and stocks and things like that. But Charlie Munger's had a big influence on me, and I just like to share this with you guys because I think everybody's going through something in life, some kind of trouble or crisis or just something weighing heavy on your mind. And I think it's nice to know that you're not alone, that we all share in this kind of part of being this humankind family. And it's not easy, but there are ways to make it through. And that self-pity and just feeling bad for yourself is not a good thing in the long run. So anything you can do to shift your attention maybe to helping out somebody else, or, you know, just doing things beyond your life that are helpful will sometimes help to get your mind and your energy away from your own misfortune and mischance and onto something productive and positive. So I'm really glad that you watched this video. Please, if you have any ideas or thoughts or opinions, put them in the comment section below. It always generates an interesting dialogue, and I love to hear from you guys. It's nice to know that people who watch these videos are out there, and the only way I know that you saw this is if you write a couple words or a few words or a whole sentence down below. I love hearing from you guys. Hope that you are healthy and happy and everything's going well, and wishing you guys all the best in the new year. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.